welcome to another episode of SCL News. I'm your host, SCL Matt, and today is Monday, August 10th. So, lately we've been getting a lot of our news on Tuesday or Wednesday during the week, and so by the time Monday rolls around, some of it seems like old news, but I'm sure there's still a few people who haven't gotten all the news yet, and we do have a few things to clarify along the way. So, we'll start with Gamescom last week. As expected, we did get a big announcement from Gamescom. This announcement focused around online. Yes, Skylanders is going online. The big focus of the online play is going to be the online racing mode. Before I get too far, though, I will mention there is also an online co-op mode, meaning you will be able to play the adventure mode, the main story that you usually just do couch co-op with two people. You can play with someone else online. So as long as the two of you have the same type of console, meaning PlayStation 3, you can only play with PlayStation 3, or the Xbox, you can only play with the Xbox. Wii, you can play with the Wii U. As long as you have the same console, you will be able to play from different locations. As for the online racing, you will have two options. You'll be able to play two-player split screen locally, or you can play up to 4 players online. In each race, there will always be 8 players racing. No matter how many players you have, the other players will just be controlled by the computer. So if you have 4 players online, there's going to be 4 computer players. That's just how it is. I mean, 8's a good number for a race. It's unfortunate we can't get more live people into the race, but this is a big step forward. I'm not complaining. All right, and included, one other note. For any parents especially that might be worried about it, there is voice chat available, but it is only available with people you have on your friends list. So if you're playing with a complete stranger, you're not going to be able to communicate with them. However, during your co-op levels, or if you're just playing with your friends online, you will have the ability to use voice chat. So that's kind of nice. Moving on then to the tracks. Included with the starter pack, straight out of the box, you will have access to 6 different tracks. There will be 2 tracks from each land type, so 2 land tracks, 2 sky tracks, and 2 sea tracks. These tracks include Chompy Garden, which is a land track. Dragon Spine is a land track. The sea tracks are Mystical Vault and Frozen Fossil Festival. And the sky tracks are Calamity Canyon and Cloud Factory. There will be a way to get more tracks. This has to do with the trophies we've mentioned in previous videos, but I'll get to those in a minute. So now on to the vehicles. When you're actually playing online, you won't actually need to have a vehicle on the portal. This is kind of nice because you don't want to have to worry about the vehicles falling off the portal during the middle of a race, or someone trying to switch their vehicle in the middle of the race. You can't. I'm pretty sure you can't switch during the middle of the race, but what's going to happen is before you go online, you're going to have to put your vehicle on the portal, and that will load it into the game. So the game will know which vehicles you have then. So when you go online, you'll just be able to select from the vehicles that you've placed on the portal. This goes for any mods you have made to the vehicles. As you know, this is going to be a big thing with vehicles. You can switch them up, make them look how you want, give them a little bit of different abilities along the way, and any adjustments you make to these vehicles, you will be able to carry over into the racing portion of the game. Also, weapons. Weapons are going to be a big thing because this is, it's the racing is basically like any other racing game you've probably played. Although they can't use the name Mario Kart, think Mario Kart. It's very similar. There's going to be multiple players. You're going to have weapons. Each vehicle is going to have its own kind of native weaponry. I think we've seen Hot Streak has some kind of like flamethrower. Well, the Shark Tank will be actually shooting sharks as ammunition. And there's going to be all kinds of different weapons from each of the vehicles. In addition to the native weapons, though, or I should say, the native weaponry is actually going to be limited. So you can run out of ammunition. But scattered all over the track, from the videos I've seen, that there are plenty of these ammo pods to pick up, and that's how you will replenish your native ammunition. So you probably won't run out, but it is possible. You got to make sure you keep picking these things up if you want to keep shooting things. Other than that, there are going to be the magic item boxes. These are similar to like the question mark boxes that you would see in a Mario Kart game. The only difference here is instead of blue shells and such, we're going to be seeing magic items from previous adventure packs. So in some of the videos so far, I've seen the Rocket Ram, the Winged Boots, the Tiki Speaky, the Healing Elixir, the Sky Iron Shield, and more recently, I think I've even seen the Groove Machine. They all have your typical powers. Some of them will give you shields, some of them will give you a speed boost. Pretty simplistic stuff that you'll pick up on real quick once you start playing. But the point of playing online, well, besides having a lot of fun, is going to be there's a reward system. So just for completing a race, you're going to get coins and gear bits. The coins are your typical Skylanders currency, which you use to buy your upgrades and your hats and stuff along the way. The gear bits, though, are something new, but we've mentioned them before. They are the currency that you will need for your vehicles, because your vehicles also have upgrade paths, and you will not be able to buy these upgrades with just coins. You will need these gear bits as well. Additionally, then, there will be some kind of star system. If you've played Skylanders before, you should be familiar to getting 1, 2, or 3 stars when you finish a level. It appears that there's going to be a similar system for these races, in which you can get 1, 2, or 3 stars if you finish in first place, depending on the difficulty. So if you finish in first place on easy, you can get 1 star. First place on medium, you can get 2 stars. If you finish first place on the hard difficulty, then you'll get all 3 stars. Additionally, in some races, at least, I don't know if it's all of them, I just saw this at the end of one of the races, you can accomplish some goals. I'm not entirely sure what these goals are, but there seem to be some sort of minor goals that if you complete them during the race, they will reward you with wish stones. These wish stones, they've only been mentioned briefly before, but they will allow you to put them into some kind of, for lack of a better word, I call it a lottery, or kind of think of like a slot machine or something maybe, and you will win some kind of prize. At this point, all we know it's a random prize. It probably could be anything from coins to a hat, typical Skylanders collectibles. But the wish stones are there, and they're another thing you can get from these races. Next up, we're going to talk a little bit more about the racing action packs. They've finally brought these up officially. We've mentioned them many times before. The first pack that we've seen includes Deep Dive Gil Grunt, his Reef Ripper, that's his signature vehicle. So the racing action packs will always have a supercharger and their signature vehicle, along with a trophy, or as we're calling them now, a villain trophy. Um, these trophies do a couple of things. First of all, they will unlock 2 new tracks. So like the pack that we've seen with Deep Dive Gil Grunt is the Sea Racing action pack. So this trophy will unlock 2 new sea tracks. And then it will also unlock some new modes, including, let's see if I have this here. All right, I may not have this written down right now. But there's, I think it's a super villain mode, a boss battle, and mirror mode. So it's going to give you access to more modes within the racing mode. You'll be this will the most important thing is it'll allow you to fight the villains or race against the villains, I'm assuming. And if you are successful in defeating them, you will then this information will be saved to this trophy, and you will be able to use this trophy then to race as villains, as promised by the box. We have found out there are going to be 3 racing action packs, one for sea, one for sky, and one for land. And with all of these action packs, you will be able to unlock 12 villains. That's a total of 12 villains. So each trophy will unlock 4 villains. Once you have them unlocked, they stay unlocked. The information is saved to the trophy, as I mentioned before. And we're not entirely sure yet what the Chaos Trophy does. That's going to be the 4th trophy. What I can pretty much guarantee you, I think, is that it will allow you to race as Chaos, but we don't know what else it does, because it doesn't sound like it's going to unlock new tracks, although it could. But maybe we're thinking along the lines of some Chaos mode, or like in Trap Team we had the Chaos Doom Challenge. Perhaps it could unlock something like that. Regardless of what it actually unlocks, I'm not too worried about it. It's going to be a good thing, and racing as Chaos, that's going to be what everybody wants it for anyway. Then finally, let's see, we have the Supercharger Challenges. This is another subset of the racing mode, it sounds like. In order to access the Supercharger Challenges, you need to have the Supercharger and their signature vehicle. This is one more reason why signature vehicles are going to be so important. This is the only way you're going to be able to access these challenges if you have the Supercharger and their signature vehicle. Once you have that pair and you put them on the portal, you'll have access to this challenge. And they haven't specified exactly what you can win. These challenges take place on the racetracks. So far, we've seen the Supercharger Challenge for Supershot Stealth Elf, in which she is flying around in her helicopter, the Stealth Stinger, and she's shooting a bunch of bees, just trying to get a high score. And once you complete that, you will be able to unlock something, or you'll be rewarded with something. And that's the only way you can get it. They haven't really specified what this reward is, but they specified it's unique to her. We're thinking, if you remember the heroic challenges from Spyro's Adventure in Giants, when you completed those, you got some sort of a stat boost, and we're thinking it could be something along those lines. But they really haven't told us what exactly you will unlock, but there's something there. All right, and just then a little bit of housekeeping for the Wii and 3DS game that is actually called Skylanders Superchargers Racing. Straight from the press release, I'll just read this. Fans can augment their Supercharger experience with a complimentary dedicated racing combat game, Skylanders Superchargers Racing, for the Wii system and Nintendo 3DS handheld system. All new tracks, augmented with power-ups, boosts, hazards, and more, offer up to 50 different and exciting gameplay experiences. That's 50. On Nintendo 3DS, gamers can go head-to-head with competitive multiplayer via local or online with up to 4 players. So, as expected, the Wii, it does not sound like can go online, but the 3DS, you will still be able to play multiplayer online. So that's always nice to do on the go. And then they did mention 50 different and exciting gameplay experiences. At first, some people thought that meant 50 new tracks, but that seemed kind of high, which they clarified later with an official tweet from Skylanders that read, Bowser is revving up speed through 15 epic new tracks. So 15 tracks on the 3DS. I assume this is going to be the exact same thing for the Wii because they seem to be the same game. So 15 new tracks. So there must be some different kind of modes in there or something to get 50 new experiences. Who knows how they're counting exactly, but regardless, there's going to be a lot of content there, and the fact that you can go online with the 3DS is going to be huge. I mean, every race is going to be different, right? And let's see, what else we got to clean up? Oh, we have the Wii Dark Edition starter pack. We've already announced that this is a Toys R Us exclusive in the US. In Australia, it is exclusive to EB Games. And in Europe, it's kind of oddly not exclusive to anyone. That should be able to be found at most major retailers over in Europe. The big question mark was Canada. Up until this week, we finally learned out that it's also a Toys R Us exclusive in Canada. I believe you can pick it up in stores, but it is also available online right now, too. I think that about wraps it up for this week. So if you want more news, tips, tricks, walkthroughs, make sure you subscribe to my channel. And I have links to our social media, Facebook, Twitter, and such down below in the description. If you like what you hear, please subscribe, and I'll see you next week.